Hiya lovelies, or welcome if you're new here, I'm Linz. So we are going to be doing a chicken in the new Instant Pot Mini Rio Classic 3.8 4-quart, depending on where you are in the world. So now mine is very much frozen. So this is just another thing that I really love about Instant Pots, is the fact that you can cook straight from frozen in them. Timings and stuff do vary, but we're going to get to it, and I'm going to bring you through how I kind of put together a sort of bit of a chicken dinner, I suppose. So we'll come down if I can. So I have this on already, and I have it on the saute function at high. I have a medium onion just cut up here. This is probably going to get a bit loud. So one thing I have found this Instant Pot does really well compared to like my likes of my bigger one, I suppose, is the fry function on it is really good. I reckon you could probably stir fry in this. So what I want to do basically is just fry off them onions a little bit. So what I'm doing technically, or basically, is making up your liquid that's going to cook your chicken, but I also want to turn that into gravy afterwards. So hopefully this is making sense. It really doesn't take too long in this little Instant Pot at all. So let's see. Now I'm going to add some sage in there, maybe a teaspoon, because what I want is I want as much flavour going into this part that I'm doing as possible, because when you're cooking a frozen chicken, basically it's not going to hold anything you put on top of it. So I have about a teaspoon, what did I say there a minute ago, a teaspoon of sage, roughly a teaspoon of parsley. You put in whatever you want. And I'm going to add some white ground pepper as well. So a good sprinkle of that, because you want the flavour to come up from this. And I find frying off my herbs with my onion just kind of gives it that bit more of an infusion, if you'd say, I suppose. This is a bit like having an infused oil. Maybe it's not. No, that doesn't make any sense. Or does it? I don't know. This is more of a relaxed type vlog, lovelies, because, you know, we're just cooking away and doing something that I would normally be doing. But normally I wouldn't be telling anybody else how I'm doing it. Maybe the dogs, but they don't listen very well. So once that has enough time, make sure it's not sticking anywhere. It smells amazing just with that little bit of herb in there with the onion. They're coming quite translucent now. So what I have in here is I have 1 stock cube and 500 mils, or it works out as about 2 cups of liquid. So 1 stock cube diluted in that. It's going to go in there. Just make sure that you have nothing kind of stuck on the bottom. We are going to cancel the saute function. Now this is the wee trivet that came with this Instant Pot, so I am just going to place that in there. It's literally just sitting on the liquid line. We're going to try and get this frozen chicken out of its vacuum bag. Now obviously you need to make sure your chicken is going to fit in your Instant Pot. A chicken this size frozen will not fit into my other one. So as you can see, that is, please let it fit now after me saying that. That's that. Now bear with me a second, because I just want to go and wash my hands. Okay, there we go, hands washed. So basically what we have in here at the moment is your bit of stock, your chicken. There is absolutely no point in me trying to put seasonings on top of that when it's frozen, because they will just not stick to it. So we are going to put on the lid. Right, now this is the bit where, depending on what you're searching or what type of books and stuff you have, is going to depend on the size of your chicken. The chicken I have in here is 1.2 kg. I think that's about 2.6 pound. I might be wrong on that. I'm not sure. I'm not very up on changing my measurements and stuff around. But for me, I have always found that about 45 minutes on high pressure. So we're going on to high pressure. We're bringing this up. And I'm leaving the keep warm on. I'm going to press start on that. Make sure, depending on which one you're using, you're in the sealed mode and you've checked your vents and stuff to make sure there's nothing kind of blocking them or stuck in them. But as I was saying, depending on who you watch or whichever you do, sort of like, you know, whatever guide you're going by, I suppose, we'll get it there eventually, will depend on how long it says to cook it for, how many pounds or how many kg it is or grams. So this is kind of where I am with this one. I like to do them for about 45 minutes when they're that solid frozen, okay? If that wasn't frozen, I would do it for around half an hour, so about 30 minutes. Now, some of the things recommend it's so many minutes per pound or per kg or stuff like that. I am overly cautious when it comes to chicken. So I do tend to maybe overcook it a slight bit when I'm doing it from frozen. But lovelies, I am going to come back after this is finished, but I am going to show you something else when that is cooked. I'll come back up for a second. Because as I said, this is more of a kind of, you know, bit of a thingy, everyday type vlog. Oh my gosh. Now in here, just soaking in some water at the moment. This is my original Instant Pot Mini. I have some potatoes and some carrots. Now, these are going to go on. I'm going to pop them on into the Instant Pot original. And yeah. Wow, this is terrible. I hope if anybody's watching for the first time, they're like, what is she mumbling about? I promise it's not normally this bad. I'm not sure what's happening. But anyhow, I'll come back when this is finished and then I'll show you what I do with it afterwards. Now, this finished its 45 minutes of cooking time and I left it so it would do a natural release. So at the moment, the timer on this is saying 26, which means it's been 26 minutes since that, since it finishes 45 minutes, shall we say. Now, the pressure dropped about 5 or so minutes ago. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take off the lid, stick it in its handy dandy little slot over there. Now, this is optional, okay? But if you have an air fryer that will fit your chicken, we just take this out like this. We're just going to let it drain off. This is just to get a little bit of colour on it because at the moment it just doesn't look too appealing. Okay, I'll just give you a quick look. So that there, yeah, it doesn't look too appealing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some oil. Hope you can see me. Just give it a little bit of a spritz. And I'm just going to sprinkle some salt over. And the salt will help it dry off just a little bit. Now I'm going to pop it in here. I'm going to put this one. Now this air fryer does max crisp. This is one of the Ninja Max Pro, I do believe. So it does 240 Celsius. I am just going to put that on. Yeah, we'll try 10 minutes. We'll leave it at that. So that's just going to do its thing while we concentrate on what's going on here. So I have done my veg. So there it is. I just done that for 6 minutes on high pressure with 1 cup of water. Now, the water that was in with my veg, I am going to put into this pot here. And turn that one off. I am going to cancel this out. I'm going to put it on the saute function and press start. So basically what I want here, now hold on, we'll just backtrack a minute. The reason I put the water that I've done the veg in with is because that has lots of nutrients, stuff that came out of the veg. So that's the reason I put that in there. Another way of doing this now would be while your chicken is sort of in the air fryer and it's trying to get a little bit of colour on it so it doesn't look anemic, you could take your steamer basket, pop it in here now, do it for your 6 minutes, then take it out like what I've done with the other pot. Then you could do your gravy while you're waiting on your chicken. Don't forget your chicken's supposed to have a bit of rest time as well. So I'll link things like this. That one fits into this one. So I'll link things like that down below in the description. But we have the saute function on here at the moment, and I just want to get this to a bit of a boil. In this container here, or this container, this jug, shall we say. There we go. This jug has 4 heaped teaspoons of this Arbisto gravy powder. Just mixed in with a tiny little bit of cold water. Now, just in case you haven't been here before, the reason you mix it in with some cold water is because if you put hot in there, you're just going to end up with a big jelly lump, and you don't want that. Okay. So this is starting now. You can hear the popping coming with the chicken. That's good. This here is just starting to come up to a boil. So what I'm going to do is just mix this. This bit you need to be quite quick with because otherwise you're going to end up with lumpy gravy. So we're going to get a nice stir going on that and start pouring in our gravy mix. You could also use like a corn flour slurry or something like this, or something like that. I have just kind of estimated how much of this powder I will need. So you might need to add a little bit more depending on how thick you like your gravy. We'll see. I think I'm going to need more. So I'll just show you how I do that. So basically I just take a teaspoon and I'm only going to put in 1 more. Then I'm just going to pop over and put a tiny little bit of water, cold water in this to mix it up. Now, as we can see, this is coming to a nice rolling boil. And that is thickening up nicely now. To the consistency we like it. If you like a really thick gravy, then you're going to need to put more in there. That's just enough. And I know this is looking like an awful lot of gravy considering I am only actually cooking for the 2 of us. But what I am going to do after this is I will take, just leave that to do its thing for a minute. I will take all the chicken off the bone afterwards. Then I will bag it up in with some gravy and then pop it into the freezer for another meal afterwards. So let me know down in the comments, if you're one of my regular subscribers, do you like this kind of more, we're doing a bit of everything cooking? So that there has come up to, never mind about, you know, saying whether you like it or not. It's one of them days again today. That's thickening up. Right, we're going to turn down this heat. In fact, I'm not. I'm going to turn it off, and then I am going to put it on to the keep warm function, on to the highest mode. So if you press this here, basically you can bring it down to a low keep warm, a medium keep warm, and a high keep warm. So that is what I'm going with, and I'm going to press start. Have a look at the chicken. There we go. It's starting to brown up now. I'm going to leave it in there for its remainder. And anybody that's jumped on the comments already and says, oh, but your veg is getting cold. This is the way I do it. You do it how you like to do it. I am just going to pop all of that back in there. And that there will just keep warm with the gravy until I am ready to serve. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so oh wow, the air fryer has finished just browning that off. And just be careful doing this bit because it can be a bit awkward, as I'm seeing. Real life here, lovelies. Oh, there we go. And that was a frozen chicken that is now cooked. Very nicely, actually. Woo. This is turning into more like it should be bloopers. But there we go. What do you think? Isn't that great? So I'm going to leave that to rest. We don't need to worry about whatever's going on in here because this is all on the keep warm function. Really handy. Some people are not going to agree with the fact that I just put my potatoes and carrots in there, but each to their own. It's your kitchen and it's your rules. I just wanted to show you the inside, okay? Because I think a lot of people will just be wondering maybe what it's like inside. And as you can see, we're still totally juicy in there, even though it's been in the air fryer. So I'm going to dish up and then we'll be back. Okay, so I have all mine dished up here, and there is still plenty left that I'm going to get a one portion meal with the potatoes and the carrots, and then I'm going to get some chicken and gravy with what's left. So we'll have a taste test. So I'm after putting gravy on it, but there's your bit of chicken breast. Putting it into the air fryer afterwards for that 10 minutes just gives it, I don't know, not only does it make it look a little bit more like, you know, your traditional chicken, I suppose, but it just, I don't just give it that extra little bit of flavour that you maybe don't get just by doing it in the Instant Pot on its own. Not that there's anything wrong with just doing it in there, because, you know, it's perfectly fine. But I've just took a little piece of all the meats because I quite like the leg meat as well. So I've got a bit of everything going on there. Carrots, perfectly cooked. Potatoes. I will say these are Maris Pipers and they hold together really, really well. Right, lovelies. This has been a bit of a longer video. a bit more of my first attempt, I suppose, really, well, second, at doing the whole sort of meal and using a combination of the Instant Pots, both Instant Pot minis, and an air fryer as well. Technically I should probably have an instant brand air fryer, but hey, you know, it's what I've got in the kitchen. So let me know down in the comments, did you like this format? I know it's been a little bit all over the place in certain areas, and as you can see by the window, it's pitch dark outside, so it is fairly late on at night. It's just gone about 7 o'clock here. So I'm getting tired, and that is why I always normally try to film during the day. But I don't know, I quite enjoyed doing this one actually, with a combination of everything. Hopefully you did too. Wherever you are, please make sure you have an absolutely fantastic day. And once again, thank you so much for being here and watching. You know, it's because of yous that this channel is where it is, and I'm, you know, still able to make these videos. So again, thank you so much. I hope to speak to you all down in the comments or over on another video. But for now, take care.